Welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for November 20th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
So what do you got?
I'm going to lead off here with Daredevil. This is issue 33. It's the second part of that Legion of Monsters story that they were doing, which, obviously I'm all about that. Someone is trying to get the Darkhold, their kind of evil book, if you remember that bad series back in the Midnight Suns and all that nonsense. But yeah, Matt is involved with the Legion of Monsters and Satana, or what is her name? Sathana? Is that the chick?
Yeah, I think it's Satana. I could be wrong.
So, but I don't know. Daredevil, it's monsters. It's Chris Samney doing the artwork. Is it? No, just he did the cover, looks like. Jason Copland is doing the art. But it looks very similar.
Yeah. So
cool stuff. Digging that. This is issue number 5 of Dexter from Marvel Comics. Is this the ending, or do we got one more? Looks like maybe another issue here to go. This is, Dexter's been fighting a big bad from his past, a bully that he used to, that had a run-in with when he was a younger man, and then now this bully has captured Dexter, and he is seemingly on his table. I believe is where we kind of last left it. Or maybe he just shot him with the hypodermic needle, but I don't know. It's been fun. It's been kind of cool. It's more Dexter. I can pretend like he's not a lumberjack, and I can just read that and do something different. Then I got issue 3 of Kiss Me Satan. This was the book with the vampires chasing the witches. This was one of our books that had arrived the week where it was all vampires. Yeah. This is kind of a neat deal here. You got the king of the werewolves is his wife is not having a were-child. He does not have the thing there. So the witches sort of foresee this. She tells him, and then now they've sent, this group after her. It's her fault. Yeah. But they just don't want her spreading the message of what's going on because his people will turn on him. And blah, blah, blah. Then I've got Longshot Saves the Marvel Universe. This is issue number 2. I really enjoyed the first issue. It's just someone is basically looking for Longshot, and anyone who gets lucky, this person's showing up and killing them. You're like, it's, oh no, you're not the person I'm looking for. And Longshot's just doing his thing, getting lucky everywhere he goes. It's been fun so far. I like Longshot. I think he's a neat character. They keep driving home the fact that he's not a mutant and he doesn't have powers. He's from this other planet, and he just happens to be really genetically lucky. I like that. I often feel the same way myself. Then I've got, this is Legend of Oz, The Wicked West, issue number 13. This is the second issue of Dirk Manning's run on this book. This is a friend of the show, our buddy Dirk. This is a cool book. This is a reinterpretation of Wizard of Oz as an old Western. But the winged monkeys are something totally different and some strange stuff going on. It's a cool book. It's well drawn. It's well told. This arc's been really cool so far, and I don't know if Dirk's on the next one or not, or if
I'm not sure.
If he's just doing that. I know he's going to be doing an Ursa Minor annual for them. Then I'm looking at Exo Manowar number 19 from Valiant Comics. This is a pretty cool book. I've been enjoying this. This is who is this? This was the same artist who did, I think, the previous issue of this book as well, and it was kind of odd then, but it's a different take on
Very
things.
Nice painted artwork.
Yeah. This is a tie-in to Unity. Exo Manowar is sort of being attacked. Him and his descendants, his people, are being attacked by Harada and their group. Unity was sort of a group that they were sending in to take everyone out.
Oh, okay.
And which was sort of weird, and they kind of get taken out right away. And then, they got to find another group, I guess. I don't really know where Unity's going. I don't know what's happening, but this is a tie-in, and it's been pretty cool. Buzzkill, issue number 3. This is about a character who only has superpowers when he is high in some way.
Right.
Be it from a cigarette buzz, or caffeine buzz, or drunk, or, and he gets different things from, different abilities from different things.
Interesting.
He gets trapped by one of his villains, and he's got to he ends up finding a cigarette, takes a drag on a cigarette to help him out, and it's kind of a
weird twist on Popeye.
Yeah, yes, the non-kids version of Popeye, I guess. But he's also going to group because he doesn't he doesn't want to do this. He's kind of going to Alcoholics Anonymous because he doesn't want to find himself wasted, not know what he did the following day. Then I'm jumping over to my Image books here. This is Sheltered, issue number 5. This is the book where basically a bunch of, apocalypse people basically are looking for, they start this community where they can go underground when something bad happens, when the apocalypse happens, and the kids sort of turn on the adults and take everyone out. There's one kid that's sort of leading the charge, and he's certainly up to something. We don't know what. So now it's sort of the kids are divided a little bit and trying to figure out what the hell happened and why their parents are dead. It was a book that I was curious about. I wasn't sure what I thought about it at first, but I ultimately have been sort of curious about where it's going.
Cool.
This is Sex Criminals number 3. This is a weird book. This is a Matt Fraction book about a woman who, whenever she has an orgasm, she stops time. She meets a dude that whenever he has an orgasm, he stops time. They decide they're going to rob banks. And now this is sort of about them and the things they're doing. And it's a sexy book, and there's some nudity and stuff, but it's sort of intellectual in its storytelling. First issue was really cool. I'm behind. I haven't had a chance to read the second one yet. But I dig it. It's kind of weird finding myself reading a book called Sex Criminals. But
you're not reading that on the bus.
No. What was I think Savage Henry Lee had posted something online, a comic strip where someone walks up to a woman and says, "Hey, where are your sex criminals?" And her response is, "I don't know. They usually leave after they buy their My Little Pony."
It's funny. I was actually emailing you the graphic for this. And as I was typing it out, I was like, is emailing this going to get me on some sort of a federal list?
You're probably already on a list anyway.
Yeah, but the lists that I'm on are not
They're harmless.
Yeah. I don't want to be on
You're
sex
still
criminal
being watched.
I'm fine with that. Those people are bored.
They must be. Next up, I've got Samurai Jack, issue number 2. This is written by, Jim Zub, with art by Andy Siriano. I really like the first issue. He's kind of trying to find the strands of time so he can go back and stop Aku from doing what he ultimately ends up doing. So this seems like, we're set out for a long adventure. Great artwork by Andy, guy I went to high school with, really cool guy. Great to see him doing something. He did work on the Samurai Jack cartoon when it was on, so neat to see him working on this. And there's an amazing variant cover by Riley Rossmo.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I'm keeping that.
Very
obviously,
cool.
That's not hitting the stands in any way. But then I've got Imagine Agents. This is issue number 2. This is written by I don't know if it's pronounced Jones or Joins. Brian Joins. He was at Fanfare a few weeks ago, and he was directly across from my booth. I didn't even realize. I ended up talking to him on the last day. He came over and said, "Man, you've been hustling all weekend." Yeah, and we talked, and I'm like, "Oh, that's the guy that's writing Imagine Agents." So I'm like, "Oh, hey, man, I'm really kind of digging your book. The first issue was cool." It's a little kid who's got an imaginary friend, and these imaginary friends, it's kind of a Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends take, but where there's agents that kind of have to track down the friends right when the kids get too old, and then they grab them and take them to, kind of work for them. Where this one kid is not too old yet, and an imaginary friend who's posing as a young boy has stolen, an artifact to trap these guys, and then has stolen this little boy's imaginary friend. Now, what's going to happen there? I don't know. It's kind of slightly Men in Black meets Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I like it.
Cool.
Next, this is a book the only reason this is not my top book is because of what is my top book.
It's funny. When I first saw this in your stack, I was surprised, and then not.
She's like, why is there a Batman book in his stack? Because it's a Scooby-Doo book. Scooby-Doo Team Up number 1. I'm actually really excited about this. I'm going to have some groovy music going in my head as I'm reading this.
Those darn kids.
This is like a Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what each issue is going to be. I don't know if it's a one and done or if it's like a two-parter, because it was always a two-parter. I hope it's at the end. Okay. So they're going to do their whole thing, tell their whole story in one issue. Kind of cool. You get to see the kids unmask some villains. Looks like they unmasked early though. And are there still there's still more to do. Okay. Well, regardless, Scooby-Doo Team Up. I don't know who they're teaming up with in subsequent issues. I don't know if they're going to team them up with... I guess
Harlem
other characters
Globetrotters?
they have the. I would love to see the Harlem Globetrotters. You know, is it just going to be other characters that DC has in their stable,
Maybe.
and is it going to be other superheroes or other? Because what else do they have? They used to have all the Cartoon Network characters, and now IDW has them.
I don't know.
I guess we'll
there's
find
got to be
out.
some. So they probably still have the Hanna-Barbera characters and stuff like
Oh,
that.
sure. Okay.
Maybe. Well, I'm going to start off with The Wake, number 5, by Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy. I have no idea what's going on in this book because I haven't read a single issue.
I read the first issue.
This is one of those ones like a lot of the stuff that both of these guys do reads better is one chunk. If I had the patience to just wait for the inevitable collected edition, I would probably do that. But I don't. And I actually do like flipping through because the artwork is gorgeous. Sean Murphy is absolutely phenomenal artist. And this is the kind of story where flipping through doesn't really spoil anything because I don't know what's going on. But it looks pretty. And Scott Snyder's a great writer. And again, that to me, like I said last time, that's the testament to these creators. Is that basically I've committed to $4 a month for 10 months without reading any of the issues, but I'm in. So
fair enough.
Good stuff.
And it probably would be cheaper buying in trade too.
Probably, but I'm a floppy guy for the most part. I hate that word.
I do too.
I'm a comic book guy. Damn it. Next up, we've got Uncanny X-Men number 14. Now, way back at the beginning of Marvel Now, you had your all-new X-Men, and they were the good guys. They were with Wolverine. You got your Uncanny X-Men. That's the other side of the coin. Well, now all-new X-Men, those guys are now with Cyclops. So what's the point of this book?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is this just another continuation of that? I don't know. I guess we will find out. This is the first
Well, they got
issue.
their characters, so now is the first issue to see how they handle.
The first, yeah. So it's like this is going to be the other side of the equation. I don't know where we're going to get the Jean Grey school. I don't know if that's just going to be Wolverine and the X-Men now.
I don't know.
So yeah, we'll see. This is the first issue after Battle of the Atom, after the big shakeup. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I'm sure whatever I could possibly guess, it's not going to be what happens because Bendis has really been keeping us on our toes with these X-Men books, and that surprises me. Next up, Superior Spider-Man Annual. Now this isn't written by Dan Slott, so maybe you could maybe you could hold it in your hand or something.
I had to touch some.
You had to
put them in
touch
boxes.
I don't know what's going on in this. It's an annual.
Yeah, it looks great.
Christos Gage, Javier Rodriguez. It looks like it's
awesome.
kind of more of the Chris Samnee. The
Yeah.
colors are kind of bolder. It's a very different look. I don't know what's going on in here, but I read somewhere online where they're saying that this book counts. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
But apparently something happens in here that is going to have some impact on the rest of the series, even though it's not written by Dan Slott. But I've been enjoying the Superior Spider-Man overall. If you've been reading it, if you're caught up, you'll see that they still keep teasing that the resolution is coming, but it's probably not coming soon. But it's still coming. This was a light week for me, and that's why this book is in my stack. Harley Quinn number 0. I don't think I own I own Mad Love.
Okay.
That comic. I don't think I've ever bought a Harley Quinn comic. This is written by Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti, and the reason I bought it is it just got a ton of different artists on this book.
Do they have some Art Baltazar in there?
Art Baltazar and Franco do kind of a tiny Titans-ish. There's some Darwin Cook. Let's see if there's a list. Amanda Conner, Becky Cloonan, Tony Daniel, Adam Hughes, Art Baltazar. I'm just giving you some highlights. Bruce Timm, Jim Lee, Walt Simonson, Dave Johnson, Sam Keith, Darwin Cook,
Charlie Adlard.
So yeah, this is and apparently it's a really weird, wild, out there, crazy story. I don't know if you remember, there was some controversy where they let somebody draw a page and people got mad because there was a kind of a suicide thing. Yeah, Walt Simonson, Manhunter. This Jim Lee. So yeah, this is just some great stuff. I don't know if I'll get the second issue. I don't know. I mean, putting all these artists on there was a smart way to get me to pick up the book. I'll definitely read it just to see what possible reason they would have all these different kind of weird takes in here. So I got my first Harley Quinn comic, and it's So you got kind of a roller girl look now. She's kind of
Yeah.
slutty for a while. Still miss the old look, but whatever. But yeah, if you got a book that's got these guys in it, Sam Keith,
Yeah.
Bruce Timm, Adam Hughes, Walter Simonson, all under one cover, I'm in. Next up, this was almost my pick, my top pick. This was kind of a light week for me, and nothing really stood out. So this is Avengers number 23, and that's because this is an Infinity tie-in. And again, I've been really enjoying Infinity, and the Avengers books really have been kind of filling in the gaps. This is the Alien storyline, not the Thanos storyline.
Right.
Again, we've got Lionel Francis Yu on the artwork. Really cool Iron Man and a lion.
Trying to compete with The Walking Dead.
I guess
they got a tiger.
So yeah, we got this. This is like the next to the last. Right after this, we've got the end of Infinity, issue number 6. So all in all, it's been great stuff. This has been a really solid storyline. Not what I was expecting. There's no Infinity Gems yet. It's a very different story. But Hickman knows how to write some kind of big sci-fi stuff. Next up, you had your throwback Batman book. So I've got my throwback Batman book. It's Batman 66. The Sandman Awakens, although it's not the Neil Gaiman Sandman. It's a completely different Sandman.
Wouldn't it be great if they did a 66 version of Neil Gaiman's Sandman?
That would be the coolest thing ever. Now, I don't recall this character. Is this a new character?
I guess.
Kind of a neat thing to do. Introducing some characters that weren't from the TV show. I guess eventually they'd run out. But who do we got doing this book? We got Jeff Parker. He's writing all of them. First story by Ruben. They got, DC, as much as I appreciate you reaching out to other nations to get your artists, we can't actually pronounce them on the show very well. Ruben Prosopio? I'm not sure. I apologize, Ruben. I am a bad American. I can't pronounce things like that. And then the second story, who do we got on the second story here?
Looks pretty good, though.
Second story, we've got Colleen Coover, also Jeff Parker. Oh, yeah, this is the Batgirl.
Oh, cool.
I think they finally got the rights to Batgirl. And, of course, we've got our Eartha Kitt.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, this book is a lot of fun. If you dig the Batman TV show from the 60s, you'll love it. There's not a lot to talk about because there's no continuing stories. There's actually 2 stories per book. So really it's a lot of fun, but it's all quick, old school Batman stuff. A lot of fun. Really, really enjoying that book. Next up, Fantastic Four, number 14. Matt Fraction's run on this book is coming to an end. They finally did confirm the James Robinson, Leonard Kirk book that's going to be relaunched after this. But yeah, the Fantastic Four, we found out that the Johnny Storm and the FF is actually from an alternate dimension where it's a different group of people who became the Fantastic Four.
Really?
Several.
I think I'm an issue behind. I think I missed that.
Okay, yeah. There's Reed Richards is not in the group, so it's an alternate dimension. Looks like we got some different artwork in here. But yeah, Matt Fraction is coming to the point where he's finishing his story. The 2 books are kind of colliding. We've got Doctor Doom, we've got Kang, we've got Annihilus, we've got all kinds of good Fantastic Four stuff. We've got time traveling, we've got dimension hopping.
Cool.
All of it kind of framing this really interesting family drama where the Fantastic Four are dealing with the fact that their powers are destroying them. The Things basically kind of mutated into a glob. The Invisible Woman, parts of her are invisible, parts of her aren't. Human Torch can't control his powers. So really, really interesting stuff. And really, there's all this big cosmic stuff, but then the dynamic of a family basically dealing with an illness, which is something that I think is kind of interesting. So I'm going to miss Matt Fraction on this book. I think he's done a pretty good job overall. And Mark Bagley, always doing great stuff. Although Mark Bagley didn't draw this one.
Right.
But yeah, so that's the bulk of my stack.
Well, because this brings me to the top of my stack here. This was one of my favorite things that came out in October. This is Afterlife with Archie. This is issue number 2. In that first issue, it was fantastic. I mean, you've got Hot Dog gets hit by a car. Jughead doesn't know what to do, so he goes to Sabrina and asks for help. Her aunts say, absolutely not. This dog is already dead and we can't save him. So he sort of appeals to Sabrina and says, well, how would you feel if something happened to Salem, her cat? So she uses necromantic magic, brings the dog back to life, and it comes back and it's, a little feisty, a little angry. Something's wrong with the dog. It bites Jughead. Jughead's not, he's like, oh, I'll be all right. And he ends up finally making it to the Halloween dance. And when he shows up, he's this nasty zombie, and everyone's like, Jughead's got the best costume ever. The artwork is really great. It's Francesco Francavilla. Yeah. Beautiful stuff. I mean, in the background throughout the thing, they had these two characters discussing the merits of Halloween versus Nightmare on Elm Street. The Rob Zombie remakes and that stuff.
Interesting.
It's being played very straight.
Yeah.
With our characters. And, you got Pops. There's Pops in there. I mean, he wasn't in the first one at all. Fun stuff, neat stuff, and I dig it. I think this is one of the better, more fun books on the stands right now. That first issue completely blew me away, and I was surprised by how many I sold.
A lot of people really die. I mean, it's strange and it's kind of smart. Archie kind of saying, okay, we've got our core audience, but let's try and reach out a little bit. And they've been doing that in a variety of different ways. A straightforward horror comic featuring Archie characters. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't try something like that sooner. But they've been a pretty daring, bold company of late.
Yes. I was talking to Tim Seeley at Fanfare, and he said he was kind of hoping they were going to play it a little more silly, like Archie comics, and do a zombie thing. Because, there's a bunch of serious zombie comics. But that's kind of what makes it better. Right. It's not just, playing the straight up silly Archie zombie stuff. I'm scared. I'm a little scared for the Riverdale gang.
And that's weird because that opens, what opens the door to maybe some hard sci-fi comics. Taking Archie and moving him into different kinds of stories the way that Spider-Man and Superman and all these other characters can have funny stories and scary stories. Why not Archie?
Yeah,
agreed. How has nobody thought of this before?
Brilliant stuff.
Great stuff.
I absolutely loved that first issue, and I cannot tell you how excited I am for the second.
Cool. Well, like I said, I had kind of a small week and nothing really jumped out. So I had a tough time picking, but I went with Green Lantern New Guardians number 25 is my top pick. And the main reason is, as I've said before, this new creative team on the book, Justin Jordan, who did A Favorite of Yours, Brad Walker, who I'm not familiar with. I know he did some stuff on Action Comics with Grant Morrison. Overall, they've just been a really great team. And this has actually become my favorite of the Green Lantern books. I was always a big Kyle Rayner fan. And now Kyle Rayner, as the White Lantern's taking him in a direction that's kind of interesting. Cool. At the end of Lights Out, everybody believes that Kyle Rayner is dead, but obviously is not. So this is kind of a brand new start. This is a new direction for the book, a new direction for the character. Kyle is going to be roaming the cosmos with the new Guardians. I guess those new Guardians are literal new Guardians. And yeah, so I have no idea what to expect from this. It's a brand new direction for the book and the character, and I guess that's kind of out of all the stuff I've got this week, that's got me the most interested in reading. So that's my top pick.
Right on. It was kind of a light week for you and more of a heavy week for me there.
We got a big week this week.
So yeah, lots of stuff to read. But that is your Week in Geek.